What's up, everybody? Trey Biddy with HawgSports.com coming to you from Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium after Arkansas's 44-20 win over the FIU Panthers. And not a big name opponent. I mean, this is a team that lost, 40-6 last week against Middle Tennessee State. So it's not anything to just like jump up and down and go crazy about, but it's a win. And I mean, it can go the other way. We saw what happened to Auburn today. I think Auburn, probably some of the same stuff crept in with Auburn, thinking they're all this and that after they beat Arkansas 48-10 last week, as Arkansas thought when they beat Florida in the swamp, oh, we're back, baby. And, you come back here and you get shown what's up. I think it's important to, put together a game like that. I mean, they put up 323 rushing yards. They hadn't done that all year, obviously. So they put up some good rushing yards. And, going into this Missouri game, which that was a wild game, I mean, Missouri just has something about them this year. They catch a lot of breaks. They make a lot of big plays. I don't mean to say that they're just lucky, because they certainly aren't. But Arkansas has a chance to be a spoiler. I mean, Missouri's looking for a New Year's Six bowl game, and Arkansas has a chance to ruin that on Saturday. And, I was kind of pulling for Missouri because Florida was going to be the team that ruined it. And now Arkansas has that chance. And can they do that? I mean, can they go to Tuscaloosa and, play them tight, lose 24-20? Can they go to Oxford and play them tight, lose by 7? Can they go to Baton Rouge and lose by 3? It's still the same bunch of guys out there. I mean, yeah, everybody's had injuries and personnel has changed a little bit here and there. It's still the same guys out there. Is this the Arkansas team that lost 48-10 to Auburn and was humiliated? Or is it one of those teams? Can they get that energy back? That would be the big question. But it's important to have a little bit of momentum. Sam Pittman talked a lot about, the F word, fire, that F word, at the press conference. He was kind of asked about, the announcers apparently said that he had spoken to Hunter Yurachek, and Hunter Yurachek told him he was safe or something, and he said, that's not the conversation that he'd had at all, I guess. I don't know if he really heard the question, because I think he probably just heard the F word and kind of said what he wanted to say about, all that talk and, hurting recruiting and, the media having opinions and all that stuff and hurting recruiting. So, I mean, what really hurts recruiting is winning 4 games, I mean, that's what hurts recruiting. I think I'm going to go this way. I've never exited the walk and talk this side, but my car is right over there. And I don't know that this is going to be like an extremely long walk and talk. Keep it Fettle walk and talk. So you get a look at the stadium from this side. We don't really do that much, do we? Maybe I should start doing that more. We only got 1 game left. Usually the season feels like it's just kind of flown by, but this year it's been a little longer feeling, But, just on this game, that Chris Mitchell guy, the wide receiver, I thought he was really impressive. Really had a nice game for them. But Arkansas, after they went down 13-7, you're just thinking, geez, is this what's about to happen? After they go down 13-7, they really just dominated the game the rest of the way. I mean, they made some plays. They had a drive after that, but that was it. What did they score? 7 points the rest of the game? I mean, it wasn't like just an outstanding showing by the defense. I have no idea if I can get out any way over here. We're just kind of figuring it out as we go. I don't think I've really come on this side of the stadium since college. It's been a while. It has been a long time. Yeah, all these look blocked, so we may just be walking around trying to figure our way. Oh, looks like there's an opening. Okay. Mixing it up a little bit on the walk and talk today. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot to say. I'm not going to sit here and just rail on Sam Pittman, obviously, and, after a win and, talk about what's up next year, aside from, I've said before that the ideal scenario would be for them to rally and put this thing together. And the question is it too little too late at this point? Because you have 26 seniors on this team, and you have 18 of them with eligibility to come back. And that's significant. And I know some would say, like, well, Sam Pittman, he's not the guy anyway to get it done. It doesn't matter who's coming back or any of that stuff. But I just know that when you have a coaching change, there's going to be a rebuild. And I think out the window is the idea of, like, look what Deion Sanders doing. I mean, they just got their tails kicked in. You get your tail kicked in? Like, when you have coaching change, generally, and not always, I mean, there's instances. I mean, we can think back to '98. That's a different era of college football when Houston Nutt came in and rallied everybody. But when you have change, you can almost guarantee that it's going to be a struggle the next year. I mean, there's a few examples out there. TCU last year. There's just a few examples. There's not just like a whole bunch of them. There's a whole lot of them on the other side of teams just, having to totally rebuild everything. And that's the part that, you hate about it. And everybody's right to be upset and frustrated with, look at me saying I'm not going to talk about it, and here I am just talking about it the next 2 minutes. But everybody has the right to be upset and frustrated and disappointed in this season. And this certainly isn't the season that I thought it was going to be. And yeah, there's a good chance there will be change after the season. I don't care what anybody's conversations are right now, because I also know that athletic directors say everything's fine and GMs say everything's fine until they decide one day that it's not. And you have to think about, what does the offseason look like? What's the energy with the fan base? I mean, there's what, listed at 61,000 in there today. Maybe that was tickets sold or something. It certainly wasn't tickets scanned. It's probably in the 40s, I would say, overall attendance. It wasn't, and it's about what you'd expect, it being about 2/3 of the way full. Here's a look from this side of the stadium. I don't know what to think. It's just like, I don't know what they're going to do. But I mean, on one hand, like, you've won 4 games. It's going to be tough to beat Missouri, but that doesn't mean they can't. They're going to show up. They're going to show up and try to win the game. But say they lose that Missouri game, then I think that puts some real question. I mean, that's the last game of the season. You never know, as I always say, how you're going to feel about it until you're actually sitting in it, wearing it, swimming in it. So what does that mean if they lose to Missouri or win against Missouri? What kind of energy does that take in the off season? I just think that with the fans, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who's like doesn't want change right now. I mean, you just would be. And at the same time, I'm not even sure that change is the right answer, because it's kind of like the devil, like, who's the next guy? I mean, the same people that scream the loudest that the coach should be fired are the same people that also complain the most about the guy that was hired. And, we want instant satisfaction right now. I really don't know what the answer is for Arkansas, because, again, you go to the offseason, it can be very toxic. You see some issues with recruiting right now, with recruits looking around to other places, and Sam Pittman talked about that in the press conference. What's the transfer portal look like? Who's the offensive coordinator you're able to lure in here? Are they going to look at the situation and say, if things go wrong here, this whole thing could go awry real quick. Look at next year's schedule. Like, the whole week-to-week thing hasn't been laid out, but you start off week 2, you got Oklahoma State, and then week 4, you got Texas A&M.
I love you.
So,
I love your show.
Thank you. Thanks for watching. So, I mean, like, what if you go to Oklahoma State and go to Texas A&M in the first 4 weeks and you lose both of those, and you're 2-2, coming off a season where you didn't go to a bowl game? I think we know what that looks like, right? And then, but yeah, I mean, I certainly understand where everybody's coming from about, wanting change. And I understand the other side of it too, about maybe that's not the best thing. Maybe that's a short-sighted solution. Maybe that's an emotional decision. What's the best for Arkansas to get back on track and win? And the question has to be, is Sam Pittman the guy that's going to take Arkansas to the next level? That has to be the question. From Hunter Yurachek, does he believe that keeping Sam Pittman running this program is the right answer? And you know what? one decision costs a lot of money and one doesn't. You know, we talked about, I've got it like $16.5 million that Sam Pittman would be owed, and that would probably be negotiated because he's not going to look for another job. Versus, you know, what if we figured out a way to move that money around a little bit, brought in some badass offensive coordinator, raise some NIL money, because we can talk about like what players want to come to and stuff. There are players out there who are just interested in what that money looks like, and you got to be able to pay. And that's another thing. I mean, like, Arkansas, in my opinion, is not doing as good a job with NIL as some of these other schools, like, you know, like the Grove Collective, for example. All I see on Grove Collective is, you know, donate, and we're going to give this money to players. Businesses sponsor it, and people donate to it, and they basically like wash it, I guess, and just pay the players. That's basically what's happening. And, you know, Arkansas, I see, and the charities are great, but I see a lot of charity this, charity that. You know, at some point you got to get down to just paying these guys. I mean, that's what it is. It's just like some kind of shell to pay players. And we need some legislation. We need some legislation in NIL. I don't think there's any question. You know, I'm capitalist. I think you probably are too, right? And, you know, people should be able to make money, but name, image, and likeness isn't the same thing as like getting money, getting paid through a collective. You know, that's just like, how good is he? Can he play? Let's get him here. Let's figure out a way to get him here. You know, let's pay him. That's what it is. And I'm all for the guys making money and stuff, but there's got to be some transparency. There's got to be, I mean, we're moving to an NFL model. Let's make it transparent, right? All right, everybody, I'm just rambling now. Don't really know what to say about, you know, a 44-20 win over FIU. I didn't want to talk about, you know, Sam Pittman's job situation, and, you know, but I did. So I don't really have any opinion on it. I just want Arkansas to win, and whatever the best decision, I guess that's probably what you want to. All right, everybody, I'm going to wrap it up. This has been Trey Biddy with HawgSports.com. Not sure this was the best walk and talk ever, but I mean, it's the FIU game, so cut me some slack. We'll catch you next time.